My husband filmed me falling down a flight of stairs, shared it online, made money from it. And when I woke up in a hospital bed unable to feel my legs, his parents told me I was being dramatic. They had absolutely no idea what my lawyer had just found. I'm 32, a project manager for a mid-sized logistics company, married for 6 years. We own a house in a quiet suburb outside Chicago. I'm not someone who spirals or blows things out of proportion. I solve problems. I run 5 Burmese chats on weekends. I meal prep. I'm the person people call when something actually needs to get done. That's who I am, and that matters for the story I'm about to tell you. My husband worked in B2B sales, traveled 2 or 3 times a month, came home, and we'd fall back into our routine. His brother was his closest friend, which I always respected, even when it meant they acted like 19-year-olds in a grown man's body. I told myself it was harmless. I should have been paying closer attention to what they found funny. It was a Thursday night in October. My husband had been oddly wired all week, laughing at his phone when I walked into the room, texting his brother constantly. I assumed fantasy football. I made dinner, poured myself a glass of wine, sat down to watch TV. Hey, can you grab my charger? I think I left it in the guest room, he called from upstairs. Which nightstand? Left side, I think. I walked up, turned down the hallway, pushed open the guest room door. The second I stepped inside, a figure lunged at me from the dark corner. Ski mask. Screaming. Full sprint toward me from 3 feet away. My body didn't consult my brain. I spun. My foot caught the doorframe. And I went backward, all 12 stairs. I remember the ceiling rotating. I remember the sound my shoulder made. I remember my husband's voice going from laughing to a different register entirely in under 2 seconds. And then I don't remember anything else for about 40 hours. I woke up in a hospital bed with a spinal contusion at the T6 level. The doctor explained it carefully. The fall had caused bruising directly on my spinal cord. I had no sensation below my waist. He used terms like incomplete injury and recovery window and favorable prognosis, and I listened to all of it, but the thing that cut through everything was simple. I could not move my legs. My husband sat in the chair by the window, looking like a man waiting for a sentencing. It was supposed to be a joke, he said quietly. We didn't think. You didn't think, I said. My voice was flat. I wasn't even at anger yet. I was somewhere below it. You put your brother in a ski mask and staged a home invasion in our house. It was a jump scare. People post them all the time, they go viral, it's just... I fell down 12 stairs. He didn't answer that. There was no answer for it. My parents drove in from Michigan the next day. His parents came up from downstate. The hospital room had a tension that had nothing to do with the machines. My mother-in-law pulled a chair close to my bed, took my hand gently, and said, "And I want you to really sit with this. Honey, you just need to stay positive. You startled easily, that's all. Accidents happen." I looked at her. He staged it. He didn't intend for you to get hurt. He dressed his brother in a ski mask and put him in a dark room to scare me. It was a prank, she said, firmly, like that word was somehow a legal defense. You're being dramatic. My father, who rarely speaks, stood up slowly from his chair in the corner. My daughter cannot feel her legs, he said. Take that word back. She didn't. The next 2 months were PT twice a day, nerve pain, plateaus, and slow progress. My husband attended most of the sessions, wearing his guilt like a coat he didn't know how to take off. He kept saying, "Whatever you need," and "I'm so sorry," and I kept nodding because I hadn't decided yet exactly what I was going to do. Then I found the channel. I wasn't snooping. He'd left his laptop open on the kitchen counter. I walked past, and the YouTube studio dashboard was just sitting there on the screen. A channel I had never seen before. 46 videos. The most recent one titled, "Gone Wrong, Wife's Reaction Prank She Falls?" Posted 3 days after my accident. 42,000 views. Monetized. He had uploaded a video of me falling down a staircase and was running ads on it. I sat down at that counter very, very still. And I thought, okay, now I know exactly what I'm dealing with. I didn't say a word to him that night. I needed to be calm and deliberate before I spoke, because the second I opened my mouth about that channel, the clock would start, and I needed to be ready. I screen recorded the dashboard, Views, revenue estimates, upload date, all of it. Then I closed the laptop exactly the way I found it. 2 days later, I called a personal injury attorney. A friend had used her for a wrongful termination case and said she was someone who didn't flinch at anything. I sat across from her and told her the whole story without stopping. When I finished, she leaned back and said, "He posted the video while you were still inpatient? 3 days after the accident. And the channel is actively monetized." "Yes." She was quiet for a moment. Then, "I want you to keep your behavior completely normal at home. Don't delete anything. Don't confront him. Don't tip him off."
Can you do that?
"I've already been doing it for 2 days." She almost smiled. Good instincts. She walked me through the legal landscape. The anchor claim was intentional infliction of emotional distress, staging a fake home invasion knowing it would cause extreme fright, resulting in documented physical injury, is not an accident. It's recklessness at minimum, intent at worst. On top of that, there was strong negligence exposure. And the video, published without my consent while I was hospitalized, opened civil invasion of privacy claims, and, depending on how the channel's monetization was structured, potentially more. She told me the timeline would be long. Filing, discovery, depositions, 12 to 18 months minimum before resolution. "Are you prepared for this to get ugly?" she asked. His mother told me I was being dramatic while I was still in a hospital bed. I said, "I've been ready." I went home, set the table for dinner, and talked about getting new gutters before winter. I passed the salt when he asked for it. The following weekend, he sat me down in the living room with the look of a man who'd been rehearsing something for days. "I've been thinking," he started. "I think we need to just move forward together."
I'm sorry. You know I'm sorry.
"But dragging this into legal territory is only going to hurt both of us." "Are you asking me not to pursue anything legally?" "I'm saying I don't want lawyers in our marriage." "There's already a lawyer in our marriage," I said. "You put her there when you uploaded that video." His face shifted. He hadn't expected me to know about the channel. He tried to recover fast. "I took it down already. 3 weeks after posting. After 42,000 views and however much in ad revenue." I kept my voice level. "Did you think I was never going to find out?" He pivoted immediately, and this was dirty trick number 1, the guilt pivot. He leaned forward, voice dropping into something soft and broken-looking, doing the version of himself that usually worked. I panicked. "You were in the hospital. I was terrified." I wasn't thinking right. I thought if it went viral, I could spin it into something, help pay for everything, the bills, the PT. "You monetized me falling downstairs," I said. He didn't have an answer to that either. He never did the second time. Within the week, his parents showed up unannounced. His mother sat across from me in my own living room and explained that if I filed a lawsuit, I would be tearing apart the family, that my husband was barely holding together, that the right thing was to forgive and heal and move forward. That was dirty trick number 2, deploy the family. His father, who in 6 years had never once said he loved me but could apparently find his voice when legal exposure was on the table, said, "You're going to put your own husband in legal jeopardy over an accident." "He staged it," I said. Same words I'd said in the hospital room 2 months earlier. "He put a man in a mask in a dark room to scare me, filmed it, and posted my injury online for money. You're blowing this out of proportion." I stood up. "I'd like you both to leave." My mother-in-law's jaw tightened. "This is our son's house too." "It is."
He can ask you to stay.
"I'm asking you to go." They left. My husband stared at the floor. I went upstairs and called my attorney. 3 weeks later, his lawyer, a guy in a sharp suit who clearly expected to wrap this up in one call, sent over a settlement offer. $40,000. Full release of all claims. A non-disclosure agreement requiring me to never discuss the incident, the video, or any related circumstances with anyone. My attorney called me after reviewing it.
"They're scared," she said.
40,000 is an opening insult. But the NDA tells you everything. They do not want this going into discovery. Why not? Because discovery means we get to look at everything. A pause. "How many videos did you say the channel had?" 46 when I found it. "How long has the channel been active?" "I don't know," I said slowly. Let's find out, she said. My attorney sent the rejection letter within 48 hours. No counter. Just a flat no. Opposing counsel called her and said my husband was prepared to demonstrate this was an unfortunate accident and that I was exaggerating the emotional damages. She relayed this to me. He wants to argue you fell because your reaction was disproportionate, she said. Contributory negligence. My reaction to a masked man lunging at me in the dark. In my own house. I know. That's his argument. I know.
Her voice was perfectly dry.
This is going to be a pleasure. Discovery started in January. Her team subpoenaed his Google account, YouTube analytics, device records, and bank statements going back 3 years. That's when the story completely changed. The channel was 2 years old. 46 videos. But 19 of those videos, 19 featured footage from inside her home. Footage of me.
Cooking.
Having conversations I believed were private. Coming home from work. In one video, he had filmed me finding out that my grandmother had passed away. He had framed it as emotional content. The caption read, "Real reactions, unfiltered moments." That video had 80,000 views. My attorney called me the morning after reviewing the discovery documents. Her voice was different, more measured, more deliberate. I need you to come in person. I sat across from her the next morning. She laid out everything methodically. When she finished, she looked at me and said, "How are you holding up? Tell me what this means legally." Our state has all-party consent requirements for recording in private settings. He had been recording me in our home, a place where I had every reasonable expectation of privacy, without my knowledge or consent, for 2 years. That carried both civil exposure and potential criminal implications. The civil damages, layered on top of the existing personal injury case and the invasion of privacy claims, had grown substantially. "We're not in $40,000 territory anymore," she said. I sat with that for a moment. "He was filming my grief," I said. "For content?" "Yes. For 2 years. At minimum." I went home that evening, and my husband was making dinner. Just standing at the stove, completely domestic, like life was still the same. And I thought about sitting in that kitchen the night my grandmother died, crying, not knowing there was a camera somewhere pointed at my face collecting ad revenue. If that's not a new category of terrible in the history of bad marriages, I'd genuinely like to see what beats it. The bar, apparently, was not as low as I thought. He tried dirty trick number 3 that same week. He sat me down, spread bank statements across the kitchen table, and told me he intended to contest the divorce. That he had contributed more to the mortgage over the last 2 years. That his attorney believed he had a strong case for equitable distribution of the house. "You want to fight me for the house?" I said slowly. "I'm saying I have rights here too." I picked up my phone right there and called my attorney. She didn't pick up, so I left a voicemail. "He's threatening to contest the property. Wanted you to know. Call me when you can." I hung up. He was staring at me. "You think this is all a game? I think you're a man who filmed his wife crying over her dead grandmother and monetized it," I said. "And I think when that footage is played in front of a judge during equitable distribution proceedings, the decision about who keeps what is going to be very clear." The color left his face. That was the moment he understood the water was well over his head. Depositions were scheduled for March. His attorney tried to push the date twice, citing scheduling conflicts. My attorney filed a motion to compel. The judge was not warm about the repeated delays and locked in a firm date. My husband walked into that deposition looking like he hadn't slept since January. His attorney sat beside him, and across the table, my attorney opened her laptop, lined up her documents, and worked through every video, every recording, every upload date, every revenue figure.
Calmly.
Methodically. No theater. At one point, she pulled up the grandmother video and turned the laptop to face him. "Did you have your wife's consent to record and publish this footage?" Long pause. "I thought it would be. I thought the framing was respectful." "That's not the question." Another long pause.
"No."
She went through all 19 videos the same way. By the end of the deposition, his attorney had stopped making objections. There was nothing to object to. The record was the record. The case settled 4 months after the deposition. I'm not going to quote the exact figure because the agreement does include a confidentiality clause, but I'll say this. I no longer work unless I want to. The house is mine. The mortgage is fully paid. Every medical bill, every PT invoice, every future care cost covered. His YouTube channel was taken down as a condition of settlement. All footage of me deleted with verification. His attorney initially pushed back hard on the channel takedown. That resistance told me exactly how much the channel was worth to him, which made me push harder. The divorce was finalized in June. Equitable distribution, given the documented circumstances of the marriage, weighted significantly in my favor. 3 days after the settlement finalized, his mother called my mother. My mother, who had driven down for every deposition and every filing, who had sat with me through every hard PT session and every morning when the nerve pain made getting out of bed feel like a project. His mother told her I had ruined their son's life and hoped I was proud of myself. My mother said, "My daughter walked into her own guest room and woke up unable to feel her legs. Your son filmed it and made money off it. I don't know what story you've been telling yourself, but I hope it holds up." Then she hung up. I love my mother, sincerely and completely. My father called an hour later just to say, "Your mom is on fire today." That was the whole call. I laughed harder than I had in months. Dark seasons do, occasionally, produce genuinely funny moments. You just have to wait for them. The nerve damage from the fall isn't fully gone. Cold weather makes it worse. I do PT twice a week and probably will for years. I walk normally now, which on some mornings still feels like something I shouldn't take for granted. What I think about most isn't the fall. It's the 19 videos. It's the 2 years. It's the idea that my husband had an entire private relationship with an audience built on footage of my actual life, taken without my knowledge. Every vulnerable moment I had in my own home was potential content. That particular violation doesn't heal the same way a spinal cord does. I told my attorney toward the end of everything that I felt like I should have seen some of it coming. She shook her head. "You trusted someone you were supposed to trust," she said. "That's not a flaw. That's just being human." His last desperate move came 2 weeks before the settlement was finalized, and I almost have to respect the sheer audacity of it. He sent me a handwritten letter, 3 full pages, about how much he loved me, how this wasn't who he truly was, how he was in therapy and learning so much about himself. It was genuinely well written. His penmanship has always been good. I photographed it, forwarded it to my attorney, who confirmed it changed nothing legally at this stage, and then I recycled it. Some letters don't deserve a response. The entitlement piece is what I keep coming back to, honestly. People who have it don't experience it as entitlement. They experience it as logic. My husband genuinely believed his need to build something, to create content, to chase those numbers justified using whatever footage he had available. He never asked me because asking would have felt strange to him. Using me without consent was just practical. That's the part that doesn't go away quietly. His new apartment is 40 minutes from the house. Someone I know mentioned he tried to start a new YouTube channel. It has 11 subscribers. I genuinely wish him the best from a distance behind a legal agreement with 0 contact and absolutely 0 cameras. If someone in your life right now is telling you that your pain is dramatic, that your reaction is an overreaction, that the person who hurt you just didn't mean it, that's not comfort. That's control. Trust your own experience. Document everything you can. And find someone in your corner who doesn't flinch. If this story hit harder than you were expecting, go ahead and subscribe because, unlike my ex-husband, I'll actually ask your permission before making you part of the content.